Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see you. My name's Dean. Hi. Good to be here. Nice to be seen by several people. We've got a few people on the show today. It ain't just me. We've got Chris Machete. He's going to come on from the Kids on the Escalator podcast today. We're going to chat a bit about House of the Dragon. Have you seen House of the Dragon, Locke? Have you seen this new HBO series, House of the Dragon? Have you seen it?
I have. You know what I found interesting? You told me the other day, you said, I'm watching this, but I never watched Game of Thrones. And I'm like, what?
Not 1 second. Not one fucking hot second of Game of Thrones. I haven't seen 1 second of it.
But why would you watch House of Dragons and not Game of Thrones? Were you just so far behind it just seemed too much work?
Yeah, and it's like I heard there's a lot of wieners in it and dragons, and I'm like, I can't watch a show with just wieners and dragons. And then someone was like, this new House of Dragons, House of the Dragon or whatever is going to be way better than the first Game of Thrones. And I'm like, yeah, if it's a prequel, I'll watch it because it lays the tracks for Game of Thrones if at any point in time I feel like consuming it, right?
Okay. All right.
But I'm trying this new thing where I'm trying not to shit on things I haven't seen or don't know. Like the Tim Hortons pizza, which we'll get to in just a couple minutes. Reviews are in. Doesn't look great, but I'm still going to eat the shit out of it. And I want people to relax.
Eat it too. Yeah.
As you should. I think you and I have work to do in making Tim's keep their pizza handy. Because it's just a testing. But my point is this. I think people should give more things a chance instead of just writing stuff off. So I'm like, I'm going to watch House of the Dragon. And we've got Machete on, who's like a big, crazy TV, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, comic book guy. He's got a huge podcast called Kids on the Escalator. Does a great job of it with Brent Donnelly. And I'm like, you got to come on. We got to talk about this because it's literally like it's ground zero for me in terms of this Game of Thrones shit and George R.R. Martin and all that stuff.
It'll be interesting to see how you progress with it, right? Like, it'll be interesting to see if you enjoy this because I think you might have made a mistake missing out on Game of Thrones. I'll be honest with you.
I might have. I felt that way about Breaking Bad because I didn't watch Breaking Bad. I was like, meh. And then as soon as it was over, I'm like, I got to watch it. Apparently the last episode was bangarang. So I watched it and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm so glad I didn't watch it when everybody else did. And I get to watch it and everybody else was super jealous. But the one thing that I'm really afraid of if I get into Game of Thrones is apparently the end sucks balls. Like it's the worst ending of any TV show in the history of TV shows. It's all anybody talks about. And I'm like, why would I invest all kinds of time into like how many seasons? 8, 10, 9? How many seasons of Game of Thrones?
Shit, 7, 8, something like that. I think here's how I justified the ending.
Yeah.
I think there's no way that show would have ended because there was so much love for it that I had the same response to Sopranos. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you doing? That can't be it. No. I want to find the writers and hold them underwater for a long period of time. What did you guys do?
Well, this is the thing.
After I took some time away from it, I realized when you have something that big, that's that culturally significant, where the entire planet is watching it and loving it, you're not going to make anybody happy. So I think that might help if you go into it with that perspective. I will agree that I think they got a little sloppy towards the end from a storytelling perspective.
It was almost like they ran out of room or something like that. That's what everybody says. It's like they just decided, oh, we've only got 3 episodes left. Let's jam as much as we can and just end this so we can move on to the next thing. That's kind of the narrative out there.
I don't
want to waste time on that.
But you'll enjoy it. You'll still enjoy it. I mean, it's what's this? The squeeze is worth the juice or something, or the
juice is worth the squeeze. You were close.
Okay, I'm bad with sayings, but I would suggest you give it a try. I don't think they ran out of time. I think they ran ahead of the writer because he's like famously slow.
Yeah,
and they got past him, and I think they desperately needed the guy and his input. The main guy that wrote these books.
Yeah, but he was drinking or eating or something. George R.R. Martin. He's like, fuck, whatever. I'll get to it after in a year. And he's like, I'm busy partying. I'm busy drinking on a ship.
He's a little slower of a writer. So I think they ran past him and they were like, you got to keep up, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be interested to see what you think of this House of Dragons because
Is it House of the Dragon or House of Dragons?
Oh shit, I don't know. Fuck. Don't do that.
I think it's
me.
House of the Dragon. I think it's House of the Dragon. I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, I'm fully invested. I'm in.
And okay, well, we'll get to the review, and I want your thoughts on it. We haven't shared any thoughts on it coming up in just a few minutes. What's that?
Because he's a total nerd, right? Like, it'd be interesting to get his take on it.
That's why I want him on. He's got a cool charity thing that he's doing in Kingston too. We want to drive people to, so we'll talk about that. Any way we can help different charities, specifically when it comes to kids, we're all more than happy to. It's something that Chris is doing. So that'll be after 4:00 today, which I'm excited. I think Lynn's might show up then as well, which will be nice. As always, this is brought to you by our friends at Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. Go to kivlaw.ca for more information. If you're hard up, you're looking for criminal defense, if you've done something wrong or know someone who did, go to kivlaw.ca or just email my friend Robert, the only cat I trust, Robert at kivlaw.ca.
Specializes in speeding tickets.
No, he doesn't. It specializes in criminal defense. That's what he does. Also, thanks to our friends at easyautofinancial.ca for making this possible. Again, Ed's Gitch. As well. Easy Auto Financial helps people get cars, free financing. They're really good at it. Doesn't matter about your credit rating. Check them out today online, easyautofinancial.ca. And of course, Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch, the aforementioned luxury boxer briefs, pouch in the front, put your junk in them, boxer briefs, softest Canadian made. You will never buy another pair of underwear again. I can guarantee you. Gitch3 is your promo code. Go to edsfineimports.com for more information. So we got Chris coming up in a couple minutes, but more importantly, we have two contributors here to deanblundell.com, two of my favorite people. And I wanted to bring both of these people on because all week long, what we've been doing is watching this fracas in Ottawa between the convoy people, the people who say they're not with the convoy, who clearly are with the convoy and were with the convoy, that allegedly purchased a church, St. Brigid's, renamed it to the Tupac Embassy. Tupac, the United People of Canada. They've been since evicted, won't leave, are currently squatting, getting into fights, and it has been like watching cops on acid over the past couple of days if you follow any of their Facebook feeds. So joining us is someone who lives in Ottawa from the Let's Take This Outside podcast, Miss Marianne Iveson here at deanblundell.com. And of course, please welcome back to the program, my friend, lawyer, landlord, tenant lawyer, nonetheless. What a fucking ruse this is. Please welcome Caryma Rules back to the podcast. Nice to see you as well. Good to see you, ladies. Thanks for coming. Before we get started on the Tupac stuff, does everybody here follows Caryma, right? Like we all follow Caryma at Caryma Rules on Twitter. I don't have Instagram, so I'm sure you're on Instagram. I only have a Facebook account just to look at shit and steal videos, so I don't know if you're on Facebook. But at Caryma Rules is where you can find Caryma on Twitter. Thank you, Caryma. I forgot that you were muted. I really appreciate you sending me that quiet note in our box. Appreciate it. But nice to see you, and never seen you as happy as you were this week when you put down your camera and you put down your sword and you put basically your brain down to attend a whole bunch of shit in Kitchener, Toronto this weekend. You were and are maybe the biggest wrestling fan I've ever met in my life. And tell me about your week, because you had a couple of events. I think you had a couple of meet and greets. Like, look at your face. As I'm talking about this, you're coming alive. Explain that to me. I know you love it, but what was the week like? Because this is your jam, right?
I had the best weekend. So there was a house show in Kingston on Saturday. So after the rally, I spent a little bit of time at the Freedom Rally in Toronto, and then hopped on a train to Kingston. I got to touch Matt Riddell and Bianca Belair and the Street Profits. So that was very exciting. We had good seats. They were pretty militant about no taking video. So I just got some photos. And actually, it's sort of nice to have that rule because, as you said, I got to put the camera down and just kind of live in the moment. So that was Kingston. That was WWE house show. Good times.
What's a house show? Sorry.
Yeah,
he doesn't know. Listen, Caryma, you're talking to a whole bunch of people who have no fucking idea what you're talking about. So you're gonna have to layman term it big time.
Okay,
well,
so
like Marianne does, because she has a rock poster in her room. Yeah.
Basically, it's one that's not being recorded for television. So it's not a pay-per-view. It's not like a televised event. It's just a local performance. And those tend to be in more intimate venues, and there's a bit more sort of repartee with the crowd. So that's, I think, the advantage there. And it was a professional production, obviously, because it was WWE. Then the following day, I went to Mississauga for a Destiny wrestling event. Also, they don't have like a television program. So, that was inherently a house show, an even smaller kind of community center, amazing crowd and vibes. I actually am not super familiar with Destiny wrestling. So I was just kind of getting into it based on, the audience reaction and like the promos that were being cut or like the entrance songs. Josh Alexander was there. And he is currently not only the Destiny champion, but also the Impact World Heavyweight Champion.
Is that the guy from Seinfeld?
No, I said Jason Alexander and then corrected myself. His name is
I was going to
Josh.
say, was he wrestling as a luchador? Jason Alexander, George from Seinfeld?
But also Kurt Angle was there.
All of a sudden, I'm into wrestling.
Olympic champion, multiple title holder.
There's a picture of you and Kurt Angle that you posted, and you look like you just met the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
I paid $40 for not even an autograph, just
$40,
just
30?
to get a picture with him. $40.
Yeah.
Get a happy
40
ending.
bucks.
$40. Listen, he seems to be physically in rough shape, so I'm happy to contribute for the years of entertainment that he has provided. That is the deal. I
will say this about the wrestling thing. I don't get it. I've never understood it. I didn't mean that to sound like
Game of Thrones or whatever dragon show.
Yeah. No,
right?
Listen, I have my things that people don't understand either. Like I'm well aware of that, but I've never anybody like grown ass man. Like I worked in a building previous to the one that I'm in, and everybody to a man was
Loved
over
wrestling.
the top about fucking
Yeah, they
wrestling.
talk about it.
They
Hey,
sound
did you guys
cool.
see
That
Sting
sounds
come
like a
out last
cool
week? He
workplace.
looked so mad at Hulk Hogan. What do you think of that? Well, guys, I know it's 100% fake, but it was sure entertaining.
But they would say things like life is wrestling and wrestling is life, and I would go, no, it isn't. What is wrong with you guys? Put the bong down. Put the bong down for a day. Go 2 or 3 days without smoking weed. You clearly are in trouble here. You're in trouble. And
you're also,
and
dude, you're barking up the wrong tree with Caryma because she's never going to quit two things.
Well, apparently
A, watching wrestling, and B,
is
smoking pot, like ever.
Well,
I'm not even like you call me the biggest fan, but that's probably just a reflection of the circles that you hang out in, Dean, because I'm not even in the trivia sort of. I go for the moment and like the crowds and the signs.
Can I play a video that would say the exact opposite of what you're saying? I'd like to just play this video. This is that. I want you
He
to
has
look at
receipts.
this.
He has receipts.
Marianne, you'll like this because this is like absolutely stands in contrast to the lie that Caryma just told. For a lawyer, not supposed to lie. I want you to look at how into it she is. Watch this. There we go. A little Raw. Is this Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And look at this. Here we go. Where is she? How's she feeling today? How's Caryma feeling today? There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I have to say that when I see someone in their absolute element and that they're completely enthralled with it, like that warms my heart, Caryma, to see
That's
you
what
in your
I
element.
was. That was what I was going to say. I used to like ridicule friends and family members that were into this, like to the point where they didn't invite me to other events. They didn't want me around. And I'm turning a bit of a corner here with Caryma because she is so much fun to watch when she's at these events.
Yeah. Oh, she's so happy.
I just love the collection of people.
Seeing you happy because you've got this beaming smile. And I agree with Marianne. Maybe I'm turning into a bit of a softie, but like I watched that on repeat this weekend. I'm like, excuse me, is she the happiest you've ever seen her right here? Can you check this out? I was just showing my kids, hey, check out Caryma. My dad, my eldest son, 22. He's like, she really likes wrestling, eh?
Yeah, I'm not faking.
No.
Yeah.
Unlike the people you're watching, but at the same time, it's the storylines, right? Like you're a huge Edge fan, right? What's his real name? Adam
Copeland.
Adam Copeland, great guy. I've interviewed him a bunch of times. Just a lovely individual. He made an appearance, and obviously he retired back in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. And it was very intimate, and some of these house shows are intimate. So if you're a wrestling fan, this is you. But fuck, it's expensive. Like, this is another tweet that you put up today because you're trying to bogey your way into an AEW show. Look at this, Locke. This is what people are paying for these tickets. Face value for tickets for an AEW show Caryma's trying to get into, $216, resale price $727, $1,730 total for 2 tickets. Is that right?
This is the pre-sale. Yes. So this is for 2 tickets.
What?
As part of the pre-sale. Now,
can we talk about those fees for a second too?
Yep. And who is the reseller? Because the tickets at this point have literally been available for like 5 minutes. So the reseller, it takes more time to upload your ticket. You are selling tickets. Clearly, it's Ticketmaster.
Yeah,
these
are total scams.
Yeah,
they've
Ticketmaster sells the ticket to themselves for less than the face value of the price, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay fees." Let's have a look at those, as Marianne said. Fee service doesn't say what the fee service is. $138.13 per ticket. That's $276.26 in total fees. This is on top of the increase in $727. So it's legitimately $1,000 upcharge for those tickets on two $200 tickets face value.
At least there's no charge on a delivery.
Yeah,
can you do me a favor? I have an observation. Can you play the video of Caryma at Monday Night Raw again?
My pleasure. It like makes me happy.
I just take a look at the crowd. Take a look at the crowd.
Look at the guy with the gold chain and the belt.
Yeah, look at this audience here. You get a better look of the type of.
And then Money Caryma.
If Money Mart isn't advertising at that event, they are losing out.
Checks cashed 2 weeks early. That's what that crowd is. You just have a guy standing there getting ready to cash checks at 20% interest. They'd all go, "Yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in." But it is weird because it's a very rednecky crowd. And as you pan through the crowd, there's this wonderful, smart, young brown lawyer standing there going, "Hello."
Truly,
the
this
only
is
one
how
not
I get
paying
along
29% on a loan she got a month ago to buy a Honda.
Oh man. Well, anyway, it was great to watch you. You should follow Caryma. And if you're a wrestling person, you were talking earlier, I would love to get you to start your own wrestling podcast. There's nothing I would love to listen to more than you break down what it was you saw in AEW last night and how good Chris Jericho looks at the age of 50. Right? So good, she says. She's a big Chris Jericho.
Is he hot still?
Yeah. He's like a fine wine, just better with age.
Who's the hottest?
Jesus.
Who's the hottest wrestler right now? Like Marianne, the little known fact, she also is a closet wrestling fan too. No, Jake the Snake, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
He's alive and doing Second City storytelling. Actually,
didn't Jake the Snake go do the yoga with Diamond Forever?
Diamond Dallas
whatever
Page.
His name.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Dude,
you don't have to mock it. You can just ask questions. You don't have to mock it.
Listen, I don't know their names. But I do know some of the stories. Yeah.
Yeah, but Marianne is a closet wrestling fan too. She still legitimately has Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson poster hanging up in her room. Nowhere to lie.
And I just remember at my not my adult home and my parents' home, but also like as an adult.
I like how you made that distinction, even though you go back to your.
I like how you still have a room at your parents' place, and you somehow just like slip that in.
So there's
my room at my parents' place, just in case I ever have to go back.
But it's on this slanted wall above my bed, so it like rests like right above. But I remember Mick Foley actually stopped by for an interview. Oh my gosh, it was years ago now. I used to work at a radio station, and I had no idea he was coming in. I was just like at the reception, and he walked in, and I don't know why, but I just like lost my shit. I just was like, holy crap, like, because I wasn't expecting it, right? And it was like someone from when you're a child and you watch. It was one of those like unexpected, weird freak out moments. Like I've met Garth Brooks, and I did not freak out as much as I did with like Mick Foley, for God's sake. So
Garth Brooks is a serial killer. So there's that.
I don't think that's true.
All right. Speaking of serial killers, the reason why I wanted to have both of you on today is because not to talk about wrestling as much as that's a lot of fun, but you live in Ottawa, Marianne.
Yes.
You've been part of both convoys. You've been
Not
subjected.
part of the convoy. Can we just please?
Well, you were subjected to the convoy like
Thank
twice, really 3 times if you count that pogey
you
little
look
rolling
like
thunder
a
thing.
convoyer.
Yeah, you look crazy. Hey, you look like you're about to make a citizen's arrest, actually. But this Tupac thing is getting fucking crazy. And I was DMing back and forth with Glenn McGregor from CTV last night, and he and I both agree it's the best show on television. If you haven't followed some of their Facebook feeds, it is absolutely brilliant.
You need to go outside, Dean. Like, get some fresh air. I'm worried about you.
I go outside all the time. Dude, I was outside for like an hour and a half today. I went for an hour and a half walk.
You're watching way too much of this.
No, I just watch it at night when people send it to me.
Intervention?
No, it's not. But it is a
right.
great show. Like, instead of cops, you could have convoy, because this has like literally been the best show on TV. JB, you want to make fun of a guy for being inside too much? He did a 10-hour stream about this yesterday. 10 fucking hours, Sheep King. And I'm like, dude, go outside. I said the same thing to him. Like, you got to stop streaming for 10 hours. And he's like, no, this is a cultural phenomenon, but it is. And if you've been following it, this guy here, William Comer, is the director of Tupac. This is the church at St. Brigid's. It's just down the street from you, if I'm not mistaken, Marianne.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how far is this church from you?
A few blocks away.
A few blocks away. So you've seen this kind of percolate. You've been part of both of these things. These guys have since been evicted. I think last week they were told, hey, listen, you didn't pay your rent. You don't have insurance for the purchase. You guys have made alterations to a heritage building you weren't allowed to. It is unsafe, and you need to get the fuck out. And now, apparently, not only they're not leaving, I was doing some reading this morning, some, including Diane Nolan, one of the directors, she's like, I'm going to die here. I'm going to die for my Lord in here. And I'm like, okay, fuck, whatever. And then someone else tweeted, I came here to die for my Heavenly Father. That was yesterday. So these people legitimately think this is like a Game of Thrones for the convoy people, back to the Game of Thrones conversation. And you wrote a great piece about it today, where it's like, and I think the title was, listen, I've been trying to figure out how it is that, and why this bugs me so much, because you can look at it one of two ways if you're not there, right? If you didn't go through this, you can look at it like, hey, these are just two competing ideologies, two competing cultures, and they're literally pestering each other, because you're seeing anti-convoy people go there and do all kinds of wacky shit, which makes me laugh too. But it's literally causing issues, right? It's causing issues in the area of Ottawa that you live in Lower Town. The police are there 24/7 responding to, like, you know, this guy assaulted me, that guy's assaulting, like, just it's been insane, and it promises not to continue unless we get some resolution on the 2nd of September, I believe. A hearing has been called. James Bowie, who's one of Caryma's lawyers and friends, just put out a thing that basically said, hey, this is going to be a hearing on September the 22nd to figure out how we get these people out, or if indeed they can be evicted. But what has it been like specifically for you? Because I find the personal attachment that you have to this, due to what you and a lot of people in Ottawa have had to deal with over the past 6 months, very, very interesting.
So yesterday I was feeling a little extra emotional about it. So I decided I'm going to maybe journal. I'm going to start writing. And the next thing you know, I write like a few paragraphs. I'm like, is this a blog post? Is this like, is this a journal entry? Like, what is this? And you and I talked, and I'm like, can we post this? Can we share this? Because I feel like it really speaks to a lot of people in this neighborhood in Lower Town. And it's like this weird combination of feelings, because I don't want to care as much. I don't want to care that they're there. I don't want to feel this way, but I literally see it every single day. It's on my way to the gym. I have to walk right by it. Every time I come off, when I'm coming back home, I drive by it every single time. Took this wonderful picture. This is Dina, by the way.
Hi, Dina.
Dina was fantastic. But I see it every single day, and I see something new, whether it's, they painted something different, whether they hung some flowers up, and they're just like ruining this building without any kind of permits of any sort. And then every day there's an addition. And then, these tents this past week, did you see these adopt a neighbor tents? Did you see these?
Yeah.
So I was like, what are these? And I realized that they're just taunting the neighbors, right? They're just taunting us. And unfortunately, Shepherds of Good Hope, which I'm sure you remember from the original convoy, which was attacked.
The soup kitchen kind of drop-in center where the convoy guys were stealing their food. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like a block. It's only a block away. And usually, like homeless people who are from Shepherds of Good Hope, who are part of our community, who we recognize, have used the church. There's a lot of shelter and there's a lot of shade, especially in the summer. And all I've been seeing is this adopt a neighbor, and unfortunately, it's just people who don't have homes sleeping underneath the tents. So they're trying to like make fun of us and trying to make fun of our neighborhood. And unfortunately, like it's just these people who don't even have fucking homes, who are just underneath these tents, who are just trying to get some shade or trying to get some shelter from the rain. And these guys are taunting our neighborhood. So I'm like, why am I getting worked up? Right? Why am I getting worked up? So it's a combination of seeing the same bullshit as the original convoy, seeing them get more and more brazen, seeing them get more and more malice. You know, I know a lot of people are making fun of them, and it's super funny to see William dressed up as a king or the hell he's doing. But it's also
yeah, he looks cool too. He looks like a cool dude. You know what he looks like, Locke? Like he went into a tickle trunk somewhere in the church that had a dress-up trunk and got all this stuff on just to go outside to troll people and act like a tool. That's what it looks like to me.
But you can't tell me what they're doing is taunting, and they know that like they're there and they're not supposed to be there. So it reminds me a lot of when the convoy was here and they way overstayed their welcome and they become more and more brazen, and there's just so much malice behind what they're doing.
Yeah, but it affects you differently, right? Because you lived in that town, listened to the horns, couldn't go out of your house, actually had to leave the city for a couple of weeks because it was so intense. You couldn't get any work done, couldn't sleep, couldn't do any of that stuff. And then you come back, they do it again, and then they take up residence in your city, literally down the street from where you live. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people in Caryma, you know, the narratives around this are funny because, you know, I tweeted this just yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm like, this is a job for the police. This isn't a job for people to go down there and pester these idiots. They're just going to, what's bad for the hive is bad for the bee. I've said that many times. But, you know, to that extent, I'm overstepping my boundaries when I say that because I don't have Marianne's experience. I don't have the PTSD she has. I don't feel unsafe with these guys around because I didn't go through that. So it's like, you know, there's a couple of things going on here. And I don't think, you know, in terms of us saying these people don't have the right to be there, you know, legally, according to non-payment of rent and not being able to satisfy certain parts and conditions of the purchase of that church, which we all know, which fugazi anyway. But like it's truly kind of a weird situation. And I wanted to have Marianne on because, you know, she's gone through it, but there's a whole legal portion to this, right? Like there's an entire section of this that's like, hang on, like you got to wade through the law instead of going there and taunting these idiots who are taunting other people into taunting them. It's just a big taunt fest for people that fucking hate each other at this point.
That is kind of what it's devolved into. And I mean, with the caveat that my work for landlord tenant is strictly in the residential sphere, and the commercial regime in Ontario is quite different than the protections that are afforded to residential tenants and landlords. And so a lot will turn on the specific lease and contract that existed between, you know, the members of this group and the property owner. Originally, right, we were under the impression that this was to be sold and that they were purchasing it. It appears that it's back on the market now. So whether that fell through, whether they were in a rent to pay, you know, I don't know exactly how they configured that. And there's an element here, if in fact they are kind of living in the church, you know, that's a complicating factor, even if that wasn't the intention of the landlord when they moved in. So that is something that might be affording them sort of an extra degree of protection. In commercial tenancies, basically, if the issue is non-payment of rent, the landlord has two options. You know, one is there's a grace period that's statutory, and failing sort of delivery on that, the landlord can change the locks and that's it. and make the property, available for pickup. Alternatively, commercial landlords have the ability to go in and, essentially seize sort of merchandise and try to make their rent back that way. You can't have it both ways. You're either locking the doors or you are selling the tenant's property. I've never actually seen this play out because of the nature of my practice. But it sounds to me like there is some sort of application that's been filed at the Superior Court of Justice. Presumably that's the hearing that is upcoming to determine sort of what everyone's respective rights are.
So
Caryma.
Yeah, go, Marianne. I have something to add just based on after you, sure. Marianne.
Caryma, I was just going to ask, considering what you know and what you've seen, and being at the convoy and being at all these rallies, I'm biased because I think that they're flexing this out of privilege and what they've experienced before and getting away with things, and us as residents are like, do something. And I know it's different than the original convoy, but it's almost like that helplessness, right? So do you think there's any element of privilege there that they're flexing? Like, am I just too biased about this and my thoughts on it?
Question.
No, I think that that's always a question when we're dealing with this group, right? And in the offshoots of this group, if it was someone else, would we be seeing a different reaction? And unlike in residential situations where only the sheriff, i.e. the court enforcement office, is allowed to change the locks, you have private bailiffs in the commercial context. So why hasn't it happened? I don't know the specifics. I don't know kind of what defense that they've raised for themselves, but like, is it possible that this could be dealt with more swiftly? Yeah, I mean, as an outsider, not having the full spectrum of info, I'm a bit confused as to how it's playing out.
Well, I don't know this for sure, but we have speculated from the beginning that this is, I know we all want to attach it to the convoy because there is a direct link to the convoy from February in Ottawa. But I think that you can take it one step further. These are freemen of on the land dicks. And again, I know a little bit about this just based on some stories in Western Canada. And I don't know if it's because I don't really follow news on these guys. It's not like a hobby of mine. And I don't know if it's a bigger thing back here than it is. But there is a faction of the population that believes that you're something to do with sovereignty, and no laws apply to you, and it's all fake, and that's what these assholes are. I keep seeing stories and I keep seeing videos where they're using that rhetoric. And so yes, there's the connection to the convoy, and I don't know if the Freeman of the Land gives it any more context as far as the story goes, outside of the fact that they took over that church. They knew what they were doing way before any of this. They're going to stay as long as it.
Like had no plans on paying for anything. They're just trying to get into the church and do this. Like the whole goal was just to be a fly in the ointment and be assholes, right? That's what you're saying.
They're going to be there until they are physically removed. Nothing is going to happen with paper or hearings. They're going to and this happens. It happens to like, imagine you're a landlord and you put one of these dicks in your house, and then it takes months. You're out of rent months and months. And there's been some issues in Western Canada because some of the landlords have taken it, like they've tried the legal route and it doesn't work. It just gets tied up in courts, and these dicks stay. And then what ends up happening is the problem is the landlord will sometimes take it under its own hands, show up at midnight, armed to the teeth with a couple of buddies, and you know what I mean? Like, then it gets ugly, right? And I think that's our next step. Listen, I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but That's how you're going to get rid of these assholes. And when you hear them speak, and I know enough about the Freemen of the Land movement, based on some stories from Western Canada, that's exactly what this thing is. And it doesn't surprise me at all that they're tied to the convoy on any level. Like that's exactly what this group would just gravitate towards. That the freedom and your rights are being taken away.
Lack of responsibility, lack of commitment, lack of accountability, all that stuff. Yeah.
That's fucking porridge to them. They'll eat that up like soup.
Marianne, then Caryma. Marianne, you wanted to say something about William, I believe.
My friend Andrew Pinsent, who has been like the main guy, actually, who's been tweeting about this.
That's not Andrew. That's William.
That's William. But my friend, just to make that clear, my friend Andrew Pinsent, he works at CFRA here in Ottawa. He's been the main guy who's kind of been on the ground, boots on the ground, tweeting about this. He's done great coverage of this. And we were chatting, and he has been slowly uncovering how much of a scam artist William's been in other businesses too. So there's definitely that element to it. So he's been asking William about, like, what is this business? Like, there was actually a building in Ottawa where he used to have a registered business that doesn't exist anymore. So I guess I don't know all the details of that, but he's been slowly uncovering that this guy's
total con artists.
Scam. Yeah, total con artists.
It's not just not paying rent or anything. It ekes its way into every aspect of their lives.
Yeah.
They spend all their time and energy trying to find a way to screw the system. That's all this is. And again, we'll let Caryma go here in a minute here, but I have something to add to your frustration. And because I'm like this, I have not been able to watch any of this stuff. And the reason why is, like, Dean's
show on
like,
TV.
I can't watch it. And here's why. And you and I might be very similar in nature. I grew up this way, and I've been like this my whole life. If there's some sort of imbalance, it drives me crazy.
Unfair?
I can't handle it. In work situations, in personal, in everything in my life. If I see something that doesn't make sense, somebody's getting more of something, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I go out for and we're sharing a cheesecake, everyone's got to get an equal. This is a horrible analogy, but everyone's got to get the same size of fucking cheesecake. If Fatty grabs a bigger piece, I'm pissed off about it, and it'll eat at me. This is an imbalance, and you're watching an imbalance. It doesn't make any sense. It would drive me mental if it was down the street.
Yeah. I think
I'd be down there writing things on the sidewalks.
Yeah, someone did that, actually. I don't know if you saw this picture. This is crazy. Someone in chalk paint. This is chalk paint, not real paint. Chose to go to what you can only get it at the dollar store around the corner, apparently. Chose to put the word cult in bright yellow right on the fucking front steps of the church a couple of weeks ago.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks
That's
like
an iconic photo taken, I'm sure, by an iconic
It really is. Whoever took that and did that deserves an award, Mary.
I took the photo, by the way.
Yeah.
I took
well,
the
if you know
photo,
who did
so.
it, give them a big high five when
I will
I
let
see
you
it.
know.
Yeah, exactly. But there are a lot of people that are taking the matters into their own hands. Case in point, let me play this video. This is actually fucking hilarious. They made a citizen's arrest yesterday. And then I want to get to Caryma because she had something she wanted to add. But they made a citizen's arrest. This will kind of lead into, I think, what you want to add, because it's the same topic of conversation, which is like, this is not good for anybody. I mean, first of all, this is them spraying people down with like coming at these. This is them with squirt guns, spraying photographers and journalists who were there trying to get comments and quotes from these guys. Watch this. Nice. Yep. There's some reporters. Guys just trying, look at it, spraying them down. They think it's funny. They don't care. And there's your boy, William Comer, who literally thinks that he's in some kind of culture war and he's fighting for his lord. And look at the, basically this is Alberta's new police force, Locke.
Look at the loser on the left in the he's my favorite, not William. It's the guy who's taking it way too seriously on the left in the army pants. Like, look at how serious this guy is. He's like nodding, he's posing.
Good posture.
I would throw hands.
I could snap that guy over my, like, he's so very skinny.
Yeah.
He's very tall, very lanky man.
I just want to punch him. Do it again.
Taking himself way too seriously.
Yeah.
I can't even watch. I can't watch this.
Right.
All I want to do is drive to Ottawa.
So,
and punch
imagine
the
this-
shit out of that guy.
Marianne, you're gonna say something? What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, imagine this in your down the street. Like, I know you guys know that, but like, it makes me mad. Like, I get anxiety when I watch this shit when I
So does
walk
Locke.
by.
Yeah, you
It makes
should
me
be.
so mad.
Yeah, it gives me anxiety, and I live in Alberta.
This was immediately after that happened. Someone was able to abscond one of those guns. Someone was able to grab one of those guns out of their hands, and they ran off down the street. William Comer then made a citizen's arrest. You got to see this citizen's arrest. This is fucking incredible. It really is. Look at this. Look at this is the citizen's arrest.
No.
They're unmasking the citizen who stole the squirt gun,
Whoa!
and he thinks it's fucking hilarious.
All of you guys, let him go. Let him fucking go.
I got him. Who are you? Doesn't matter who I am.
Doesn't matter.
Keep your hands off other people.
You don't fucking, you don't fucking touch people.
Pursuit of theft. And you got your property back and you let him go.
Huh?
Yeah. Go back to your local.
Did we call 911? Yeah, and you guys, because we just got all
We
that.
call 911.
All of
Somebody
that.
feed him. Somebody feed him.
Oh, you're so fucking done, boys.
Listen to this guy.
Over a water gun. Get your clown hat out, because you're going down, sir.
Locke, you'll like this part.
And then where you're going down again and again on the nightly. Yes. This man right here is good.
So there you go. There's a citizen's arrest. But my point in playing that is you're seeing a really shitty mix of people who are not terra firma, including from the left and the right, people that oppose them, people that don't. Like, you know, you take pictures and you kind of laugh about it, you joke around, maybe you'll head to the dollar store, Marianne, who knows? But these people are physically getting into it with these cats. And I wonder, Caryma, you know, how much more does Ottawa need? How much more do Ottawa police need to say, hey, listen, this is an environment that's probably not conducive to the residents of Lower Town, like Marianne, who minds her own P's and Q's while this is going on. And literally these guys are
For the
running
most
around
part.
attacking people who hate them, like attacking people, which is what we just saw.
It's messy. And I just wanted to add to Lachlan's point about sort of the free man on the land, sovereign citizenship, you know, is sort of the pseudo law, right? So the use of legal terms that sound like they mean something but lead to incorrect results, because there are aspects of the law that are black and white. And I don't know specifically sort of the belief system of this group. I don't know what they adhere to. Sort of citizens arrest is kind of a red flag, a big red flag, as far as belief in. But what it is essentially, it's designed to defeat or bypass, whether it's, you know, police authority, the courts, institutions more generally. The idea that they have tapped into these legal loopholes where, you know, if you just say the right words in the right order and put the exclamation mark here and use uppercase or lowercase or whatever, somehow magically you're going to get this outcome where the law doesn't apply to you. And whether or not they firmly adopt that belief system, there's elements of that throughout the freedom movement. Most clearly, I would say, when it comes to the QAnon Queen of Canada, Romana Didulo, and her followers, like, they are firmly entrenched in these nonsense beliefs. But, you know, you hear it from other influencers to varying degrees. And just the idea is that whoever is propagating it, you know, they stand to profit something by misleading people, and the people being misled are willingly being misled because they want to be exempt from rule of law, essentially.
I've started to get into the freeman on the land a little bit and try to learn what I could, because we had a guy on our show when we first started the locker room on cruise out of Vegas, who was trying to fly rockets into space to prove that the world was flat. And he was constantly, his name was Mad Mike Hughes. He actually died in one of those rockets in 2020, in February 2020. If you go to the Locker Room YouTube page, we've got a tribute to him.
I remember this. This was a big news story. Yeah.
He was into sovereign law as well, and he was in the middle of 100 lawsuits, and the judge kept throwing him in jail. But every time he would get out, he would come up with another harebrained scheme where he would go in. At one point, we had him on, and he's like, "I got to let you go. I've got a court date. I'm suing O.J. Simpson for the right to his name." Like they just believe the most bizarre shit. And again, it is not surprising that this element of society has attached itself to the Freedom Convoy. Like that's why I can't understand how it's adopted by certain aspects of that the convoy doesn't, like the people that are involved in the convoy that are trying to make this a legitimate sort of thing across the country haven't realized that, listen, the worst people in our country are co-opting this movement and they're following this, whereas the rest of the country is kind of like, what's fucking wrong with you people? Right? Like, it baffles me that they don't see that all these idiots have adopted this, right? Like, because I meet people that believe that this is a legitimate cause, that the convoy thing is something we should be fighting for, that we should be supporting this freedom stuff. And I'm like, have you seen the people that are jumping on board this thing? Mm-hmm. They're fucking crazy. Like, if there was any legitimacy to it, it gets completely ruined by the people that are attaching themselves to the cause. Anyway.
Yeah. As most things do, right? Like, you know, everything gets lost in the shuffle when you've got people that are, you know, trying to upset neighbors and act like assholes. And this is just an asshole movement. I mean, it's always just been an asshole movement. It's about, hey, how can we make others who, you know, feel like they want to be accountable to members of this republic that we're all involved in? How do we make them uncomfortable so that we can force the issue, so that we can make them feel like, hey, there's something that should be looked at here from our perspective. And their perspective is legitimacy. Like, it's just, that's it. They just want to be looked at like a lie is the truth. They want to be looked at as if what they're doing is legitimate. They want to be looked at as like, hey, listen, you have to take us seriously. And when you dig into what they want you to take seriously, Caryma, it doesn't make any sense. It rarely ever makes any sense. Case in point, this William Comer guy. You can ask him a million questions, and he never makes any sense. I watched him literally get served a piece of paper by police yesterday, and the cop's like, dude, whenever we come around, you're a different human being. Like, when we're not here, you act like a complete asshole to these people, and then when we show up, you guys pretend like, oh, you've done nothing wrong. And it's literally a game to these people, right? Like, it's not about even what these people want. Now I think it's more about how can they upset a group of people en masse? How can they get a ton of attention? And we're giving it to them because I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen people just decide from a specific religious standpoint to take over a church, you know, months after they took over downtown Ottawa, just to deliver shit to people on a regular basis, just to make people around them uncomfortable. Because that's all this is now, is it not? Like, it's just like, how can we make people uncomfortable? And when you are run by a Charter of Rights and Freedoms that has reasonable limitations, like, at some point, someone's going to say that's enough. And I side with, and I could be wrong, but I side with someone who we had on the show last week who said to us, hey, listen, we gave them 3 weeks, like 3 long weeks to fucking do whatever they wanted. And then we went in and moved them out. And they're giving these guys like months of free rent, you know, the ability to kind of treat people around them like shit, the ability to put on these fake barbecues and literally taunt people in that neighborhood. And nothing happens. They don't even have to fucking pay rent. So what are the squatters' rules here? Because they've effectively been evicted, but they're saying they won't leave. So is there any recourse other than the ones that you laid out? Like, is there commercial recourse? Or is the guy who sold them this building in on it? Like, is he complicit? Because it just seems like there are a lot of remedies to the situation, whether you like these guys or not, just based on the laws that they broke, not according to their ideologies, but what they're doing and the fact they haven't paid rent and haven't satisfied the conditions. It's bizarre to me. I've never seen a group run out the string as much. And I go with what Lachlan said. It's got to be this Freeman on the land libertarian thing where they're like, fuck, none of the rules apply to us because this is not where we get our shit. We get our shit from the Heavenly Father who told us we can do this anyway. That's the direct feeling I get about this entire thing. But at the same time, there seems to be no recourse or remedy for it. Like none.
I think ultimately there will be a remedy, right? So if they are not leaving willingly, then it may be that the sheriff, the court enforcement office that I referred to earlier, is going to be needed to enforce vacant possession, because the sheriff, has as part of the state and the state's monopoly on violence, right? They have just a broader set of powers. So I think ultimately that's what we'll see. Whether they will tie it up with meaningless appeals, or other kind of ways to delay the process, that's possible. I wonder as well kind of about the landlord and the way that this kind of played out. It doesn't really make sense to me that they would be in cahoots with so much on the line and, clearly a breakdown in relationship, unless this is all for show. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just too much time watching wrestling. I don't know what's real or not anymore. But I think ultimately there's a remedy to be found. It just might take time.
I already had the idea. Wild dogs attack. Not only that, you make this a pay-per-view event. I'll give you $50. You just you wait till 11 o'clock. Yeah, 11 o'clock Eastern time. That's 9 o'clock my time.
I think it has to be said. Although I find their ideology is completely insane. Oh, I'd love to watch it, dude. I'd pay for that.
I think $50 for that.
The ideology, I give you 100.
The money you lost.
150. I'll give you 150 if they. I would give these guys $150 to live stream their eviction and their kettling. I would watch that, but
with
not
wild dogs attacking them.
With wild dogs attached and rubbing liverwurst on some of them. Yes, not a bad idea. But I want to say this, and I think it's worth saying. I don't give a fuck about their crazy, wacky religious ideology. They're all extremists. They're all zealots. They're all idiots. You have to be stupid to believe in a sky daddy. I've said that 1,000 times. Like, really fucking dumb. Number one, this is not about that to me. And I don't know if it is for anybody else on this panel in this conversation today. This is about assholes who asshole, right? That's what this is about. Same thing with Jeremy McKenzie. Everybody can get caught up in the, he's a white supremacist or he's a neo-Nazi or his group's a bunch of extremists. Great, good, fun, whatever. Sure. When assholes try to hurt other people, which is what's going on here, which is what happens with Jeremy McKenzie and his group of fucking losers at Diagolon, when they try to hurt other people, you're just an asshole who needs to be taken out of circulation to some extent or rehabilitated, right? And these people are just assholes who refuse to pay rent, who are taunting people in their neighborhood. Diagolon, same thing. Assholes who taunt people outside their community because they think it's funny and it's a prank. Just assholes that want to hurt other people. Same thing with those who showed up for the convoy. Doesn't matter what they believe. Doesn't matter where they come from. Their express goal is to create chaos and hurt other people, right? So we're not talking about the ideology. When you sit there and you send me a tweet or you're in the comment section going, oh, you think you're better than us? Yes, I do. I think everybody here on this call, on this panel, different backgrounds, different religious leanings, different families. We're all interested in the same thing, which is a peaceful existence on this planet and a way to move forward as individuals for the people that we love and to be good citizens in and around our universe so that the life that we have going forward isn't full of chaos, makes some sense, is fruitful, and we can be successful individuals. And we can enjoy this experience called life. Those people hate it here, want to make everything around them just as miserable as they are. And it's systemic. Like it's this thing that goes back to what you're talking about, Locke, which is like their answer is no rules other than the ones that we deem to be the most important rules for us to live by, which is the fucking dumbest
Selfishness.
shit I've ever heard in my life. And again, yes, goes back to that selfish perspective, right? And
Narcissism.
Canada was not founded the same way the United States was founded, Caryma. Canada was not founded on freedom being the most important thing. Your individual freedom to run around and act like an asshole, shoot people if you want, turn a church into a fucking barbecue pit. Like that's not Canada. We are found on rules, reasonable rights, and having a peaceful existence. And these people want to do everything they can to make it not peaceful. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at it like it's an ideological issue. I look at it like, we have some really angry people who've radicalized themselves, joined parts of communities, and within those communities, they've found the strength to go and empower each other to make absolutely fucking circumcision decisions that destroy their lives. So why would we give a fuck? Like, why would any of us want to fucking go across the aisle and go, you know what? Tell me about your grievances. Let's have this conversation while you're hurting other people. Sure, let's platform you and let's talk about it. To the point where you and I were talking about maybe interviewing Jeremy McKenzie this week. And I'm like, yeah, would I talk to him? I might. Would I talk to any of these people? I might. But it's not about their ideology anymore. I want to know why they keep trying to hurt other people to prove their point. And their point is rooted in hate, chaos, and hurting individuals. And no, you never get an answer from them, ever. You never get an answer from any of these people. What are you doing here? Like we had Andy Lee on last week again. And I asked her again, why do you do this? And she's like, well, you know, I didn't see myself to be. No, I want to know why you believe that hurting other people or passing on shitty information seems to be your solution to you having a better life, which it never is. I mean, dude, this guy, if this is a great life, guy's wearing dish gloves and he's wearing using a toilet plunger as a scepter. He's wearing a Burger King fucking crown. Like, nobody takes this guy fucking
He went out of
seriously.
his way. Someone went out of their way to go to the dollar store again and grab this crown.
Yeah.
And sorry, Dean, just to like add into what you're saying on top of like asshole's gonna asshole, right? But it's the feeling of I don't know. It is the feeling that they're masking it as they're trying to do good for the community, A. And B, they're the softest human beings I know. The fact that like there's not one of these people that if this was flipped, if I just honked my horn for 3 weeks with no repercussions in front of their house, or if I like totally just came and like pretended to rent and pretended to buy this church down the street and threw these barbecues against opposite to their beliefs, there's no way they would handle it the way everyone's handling it in this community, right? There's no way. Like, they are the softest human being. They've called the cops on my journalist friend at least five times in one day. Right?
Yeah.
Just for asking questions, right?
Yeah.
So so that's what bugs me, is that they don't see it both ways. They are not open human beings. If any of this happened to them, they would not handle it well. They would not look at this the way like us, I would like to say, rational, calm human beings are looking at it.
Because they're not rational. Caryma, go ahead.
You gave me a wonderful mental image, Marianne, of like there being a list, and okay, you know, you have to go to Dollarama and we're going to need the washing gloves, and see if you can find some tinfoil. And if they don't have a broom, you can find a toilet plunger. Like I just wonder. But you know, the masquerading as not just something else, but like the diametrically opposed version of what it is you're actually pushing. That's a common theme throughout the freedom movement. The use of sort of absurdities to try and take away some of the sting of what's actually happening underneath, and the way that we deal with that, right? Because it doesn't mean that you can't cover it, that you can't be serious about it, that you can't laugh about it. But knowing how to react in a way that it doesn't sort of create this feedback loop that ultimately bolsters. And that's, I don't have an answer or solution for it, but that's one of the problems that presents itself. How do you curb it? Because the typical mechanisms just aren't working. Like it is a non-starter, and they seem resistant to law enforcement, to logic, to sort of basic human decency. And that's, what do you do? And yeah.
And we're glossing over the conversation about narcissism again, right? Because everybody wants to label these things and find out, well, why? And again, I've said this, I don't want to sound like a broken record. You will know when you meet a true narcissist. You'll go, oh, that's what and we're seeing more and more examples of this in society, where it does not matter what the attention is, as long as you're focusing your attention on them. Trump, it makes no sense. He keeps doing it over and over again. There's examples of why?
Yeah.
There's
just,
always
just
why.
not acknowledging facts, like not
it.
acknowledging objective reality. Like today, Trump is
don't
the same thing. It's very MAGA,
care.
right? Yeah. It's very
They
MAGA.
don't
It really is.
fucking care.
No.
Just you are paying attention to me.
Yeah.
I'm on the news. People are mad. This must be working. There is a personality disorder, and it's growing in the society that we live in with the overabundance of tools like this to reach people and social media, where there's just, it does not matter. I don't care whether or not it's good, bad, ugly. I am going to get the attention that I think I deserve, no matter what. It doesn't matter what the means are. And then normal functioning people with normal functioning fucking brains go, I don't what? And you spend all this time and energy behind the scenes going, why are they doing this? This just doesn't make any sense. Listen, I worked with one, and he was in the building, and there was constant conversations, constant behind the scenes. I don't understand why he's doing it. Like, why? Somebody needs to explain this. And I kept saying, he's a fucking narcissist. It doesn't matter. You're spending time and energy talking about this dick. That's all he cares about. He lives for it. He didn't get the attention he wanted when he was a kid. He became an adult and then just looked for any way to get attention. It didn't matter. And that's what these people are. That's what these people are. And we spend so much time trying to figure out, and I've said this before, the trap that you get in, and the reason why they get away with it for so long is because it doesn't make any sense. And everybody wants it to make sense. This doesn't make any fucking sense. Why doesn't this make any sense? There's got to be a reason. No. They're narcissists. And that movement attracted these people. That movement is creating this type of environment. And it's part of the reason why Marianne and the residents of Ottawa are so frustrated. Honestly, if you ignored them, it's like my dog Kingston. He's still a puppy. He's not even 2 years old yet. He's got massive FOMO. He has to be in the room with us, like all puppies, right? And we learned something. We learned a trick. If he's doing something we don't want him to do, we just leave and go to another room. And then he'll drop what he was doing because he grabbed my shoe and he's running around the yard with it because we're chasing him. That's what these fucking idiots are doing. They're going to continue to stay in that fucking church because people are going there every day taking pictures. And they're writing shit in front of the sidewalk. They love it.
One of the things that you mentioned,
and
Caryma kind of touched on it, is the childlike nature of most of these people. Like you run into them at rallies, right, Caryma? You see these guys all the time. You've seen these people personally, Marianne. You've walked by that church 1,000 times. I mean, they're playing fucking dress up with squirt guns and dish gloves and Burger King hats and scepters made out of toilet plungers and tinfoil. And he calls himself Lord William of Lowertown. Is that like a shared character trait of most of these jackwagons? Is that childlike, immature, inability to understand what's around them sort of mentality?
Not for every single one of them, I don't think, but it is a recurring trait. And, I feel like I want to write a taxonomy of sort of the influencers or figures in this movement, because there are overlapping motivations or character traits, but it's not cookie cutter. Everyone is the same. you know, the way that they conduct themselves here, though, like you had a laundry list of all of the childish attributes. But fundamentally, this is just like, you know, if you have a sibling and you're like, I'm not touching you, but like, you know, you're being provocative, and then you get smacked. And that smack, you know, I don't know when that shoe drops, but there's a smack coming. I'm not encouraging the smack. I'm just saying,
wild dogs.
At some point that happens.
I am. I'll encourage it. Wild dogs. Tape it. Pay-per-view. Saturday night, we release wild hounds, and they're hungry. Don't feed them for a couple of days. Just send them into the church.
I don't endorse
I agree with Dean. I might get to $100. And then they can use the money to pay for the missed rent.
Yeah,
and to fix some of the shit that they
crack the door open at like 2 a.m. when they're all curled up underneath the church pew next to each other. Throw some fucking hungry pit bulls from an SPCA in there and just fucking lock it back up and say, hey, listen, we'll see you in 5 hours. We'll see who's around. And
I vote for the police.
And some squeeze cheese. Hammer some squeeze cheese in there too. You vote for what?
I vote for the police horses again.
Yeah, they're so upset about the police horses, aren't they?
They were so mad about the police horses.
They're like, listen, we're going to give you 3 weeks to clear out, or we're coming in with police horses. And then when the police horses showed up, everybody was like, what's with the police horses? We're like, oh, fuck, we told you about them for 3 weeks, and the pepper spray and the tasering. So, like, we gave you lots of warning, guys. And they're like, yeah, but we didn't think you were serious. And they're like, no, these are big fucking horses. Like, they're police horses. So heads up. And they're like, well, yeah, but it hurt. Well, yeah, that was the idea. Like, we get it.
I'm just imagining the police pulling up with the horses, and like one of them neighs, and it's like the church, and it's like the red doors, and they like plow through the doors and like rein people in and like herd them. That's
like
all
from
I'm
Elf.
imagining right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, listen, I appreciate you both being here and kind of going over it with us. And Caryma, thanks so much for your perspective. Marianne, thanks for your perspective too, as a resident of Lower Town. Someone who's watched this whole thing shake out over the past little bit. Apparently, there's a court date, September 2nd. Is that what I understand? This should be resolved at least by then, from my understanding. Is that correct?
I don't know what the court date is for. I don't know if it's a full hearing or case management. I'm not sure.
So, I don't even know what those things are. So I just when I hear court date, I'm like, man, someone's going to get in trouble. That'll be fun. We'll get something out of it. But follow Caryma at Caryma Rules. If you're a wrestling fan or you just love the law or great journalism, she's incredible at Caryma Rules on Twitter. And of course, the Let's Take This Outside podcast. Smile. She really does. Never brighter when she's at a Monday Night Raw, by the way. But that is my friend, Marianne Iveson. Her podcast is outstanding. You can get it anywhere you get fine podcasts, Google, Apple, Spotify, etc. It's called Let's Take This Outside. If you're an outdoorsy person, outdoor sports person, you like foraging for mushrooms or making coffee with Juan Valdez, that's your girl. She's really, really good at what she does. And you can follow her as well at MA on the air on Twitter. Thank you very much, both of you, for your expertise today. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Happy Friday. Bye.
Happy Friday. Bye, Marianne. Bye, Caryma. Bye, ladies. Bye, gentlemen. And hello to Ryan Lindley, who's been sitting there patiently DMing us all kinds of details we didn't have time to put into that podcast. How are you, bud? Great to see you.
I'm good. There's some interesting things coming out of the woodwork as the show just went live, is when all that kind of stuff got released. That's why I thought maybe I'd try and slip it in, but I know you were trying to wrap. So
no, I was just trying to wrap with those cats, just because I was busy. And they had to go. They had a hard out, I believe, around 4 o'clock. So we motored right past that.
What did we miss, Ryan?
I can't believe you haven't said anything about Lachlan's hat, by the way.
I love it. I was saying I was watching the show.
Hat.
I was watching the show in the comments earlier, and I just said that when I take too many edibles and cold meds together, the guy that looks just like him comes to visit me every time. Yeah. He looks just like you. It's great. I love it.
You know what? I have an event coming up next week, and it's sponsored by Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
And so the rep for Pilsner works for Molson, because Pilsner's owned by Molson Coors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she sent me a note yesterday, and she said, I am not going to be around next week. and I need to drop off everything for the event, right? So she brought all the beer for this thing and a bunch of, the big white rabbit. She brought this huge white rabbit from the pill cans, And
Nice.
she was in the back, and she goes, "Hey, do you want a Heineken bucket hat?" And I went, "Yeah." So she threw it at me because they've always got cool swag, right? And I threw it on, and I was like, "I'm going to give it a try today." I'm not very good. Like, I'm not a guy that looks good in hats. Like, I've got to sort of stick with the basics, but I'm giving this a try. I doubt highly I'll ever wear it again on the pod, but it's brand new.
No, you look good.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, you look like you don't
good.
give a shit. You know what you look like? You look like
Friday.
your wife's out of
Friday.
town. Is your wife out of town again? She is, isn't she?
Yeah.
And it's Friday. Yeah.
The
How many
wife
beers have you had? What time was your first pint today? And what'd you have for breakfast? I love these stories when your wife goes out, leaves town. Yeah. Guaranteed you had two to four beers during the show this morning. Block does a morning show at 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Guaranteed you had something in your coffee.
I didn't drink at work.
I don't believe you for a fucking second, because when your wife leaves, you fucking take the governor off the golf cart and you go 100 miles an hour down the hill. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both know it.
So I did have a little Jameson in my coffee today,
This morning.
but that's a fairly regular occurrence.
That's just to get rid of the shakes.
I'm trying to. I don't have the shakes. I'm trying to get over this.
If I
cold
don't put whiskey in my coffee, I can't brush my teeth.
And I can't sign a paper.
I shake too hard.
My gums bleed.
I'm trying the whiskey thing to see if it'll help this cold, because nothing's working. So yeah.
That's your excuse. That's what you're telling us on this podcast, dude. You don't have to do that with us. You're among friends. I don't care that you drink.
I'm admitting to you that I had a couple of cups of coffee.
But you're saying you switched out Buckley's complete cold medicine for Jameson and coffee. That's not
because
a
the
fucking
Buckley's is not working at all.
He doesn't trust Big Pharma.
Yeah. Grant was the one who told me to try whiskey, so I'm giving it a good.
Whiskey doesn't help your cold. It just numbs you. You just feel better. It actually makes it fucking far worse. Kills your immune system, all that shit. I mean, go for it. I'm not here to talk to you about it.
I don't.
But don't
listen,
come on here. No, hang on. Don't come on here and go, guys. Just so you know, I didn't want to start drinking this morning at work, but I had to stop taking Buckley's, so I went with Jameson instead.
Okay.
You took advice from a guy whose uncle went viral for holding his foot up from a freezer.
I trust Grant.
Yeah, you love
Grant
booze,
makes
dude.
good decision.
I know.
I thought that the booze might burn it out of my head, so I'm giving it a go.
Where does that? Okay, let's talk about that. Where did you get that idea?
Lots of people drink. Lots of people drink to help them with a cold.
It's just for symptoms, though.
Google it.
Just not a long-term thing. That's the problem. It's if you're having problems sleeping because of a cold, then go ahead, have some brandy in your tea.
I love it. He's like, booze, it's good for a cold. And then you know what? Locke goes full Berta there, and he's like,
whiskey.
Google it.
Yeah.
Google it.
Dr. Locke is in the house. I love the hat though. Like it's kind of perfect, especially for this conversation.
I have a quick update. They reviewed the Tim Hortons pizzas. Now, last time we had you on the show, all of us together last time on the show.
Tim Hortons.
I heard you virtue signaling at the beginning of the show.
Well, hold on. Ryan was shitting all over these pizzas.
Yeah, unnecessary.
Wrote a post about Tim Hortons, a national institution that's owned by a Brazilian hedge fund. Yeah, and was
so
like, didn't even give the pizza a chance. So Tim Hortons launches his pizza. The reviews are in. Happy to say there's a look at the pepperoni. Someone said it tasted like Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I'm not letting that get in my way. By the way, here's just an old school photo of a Tim Hortons that you guys all might really appreciate. This is the Tim Hortons I remember, by the way. Remember this? Sitting there at the counter, having a couple of darts on the bar stool.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Oh, they need to bring back smoking in restaurants.
Yeah, and the wood paneling and shit.
And the walnut crunch tasted like a wet ashtray. I fucking loved that time.
I did too. I loved walking into a Tim Hortons, into a cloud of smoke with all these guys with emphysema in their tanks going, just give me a decaf. Like, I remember that. Anyway, they've cleaned it up, and these Tim Hortons are now serving 20 locations in the province of Ontario. We're testing out this pizza. Just a quick recap. Some of the reviews, quote, the crust is like biting into a cracker. claimed one of the intrepid reviewers. Kind of gives me the Chuck E. Cheese pizza kind of vibe, said another. Quote, it just seems like a place that has no business having pizza has pizza. Echoing Ryan's sentiment. That's from Blog TO, by the way, the good people of Blog TO.
You got to give pizza a chance.
You got to give pizza a chance. We're gonna get that thing.
I'll give.
We're gonna
pizza
get that
a chance.
taken off of YouTube. By the way, the more you
don't
play that,
too much of that.
So you can't play any of that. You can't. Otherwise, we're gonna have the same.
I don't know
whole
why
ding.
you don't give pizza a chance.
Yeah,
I do give pizza a chance.
You're
and I want to
That's
say
not
this.
pizza.
No, I know you're not going to. I know you're not going to change your mind, but I do want to put this on Front Street. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm not going to crap on something I don't know, because I said that before we got on the show. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy that like hates something because it's cool to hate something. It is cool to dislike Tim Hortons. And I do have
why is that
reasons
cool?
why.
Nickelback of restaurants. It totally is.
And dude, we have to take it back. We need to, like, this is pizza in 5 to 7 minutes for $8. Like,
That's the problem.
Expect what you No, it's not a problem. It's a solution to people that don't mind having middling pizza, or want to give their taste buds a shot, or maybe they're tired of the BLT bagel. Maybe they want something different. Like, quick pizza's hard to do, and I just want to say I hope that they get it right, because I'm stumping for the pizza. I'm rooting for Tim Hortons here. Legitimately.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Me too.
Hear me out. I thought
Attaboy,
about
lad.
this. I thought about what you were saying, and I think you might be onto something. But at the same time, I want you to think about, like as you say, I like it because it's a $7 pizza in 5 minutes. Now think about Tony, who dumped his life savings into buying a little shop and making 2-for-1 pizzas on the corner. He has a fresh sliced pie out there every day.
Yeah.
That guy's now not going to get, if there's a Tim Hortons near,
Tony,
I'm
have a
just going to
drive-thru?
go to Timmy's. I'm just going to go to Timmy's.
Well, does Tony have a drive-through? And is Tony's drive-through connected to a gas station? Yes or no?
No. So should
Tony's
we,
out of luck.
again, should we just let the big box guys take over because it's convenient and nice and it's
No,
just
but it's
subpar
not,
shit pizza?
It could be an and. It could be an and thing. It doesn't have to be an or thing. Everybody gets so stuck. Like we get so
it's
stuck
going to
in
be an
these
or
things where like,
thing.
no, you got to go to Tony's, or you got to go to Station Pizza. I support a local Station Pizza place here called Station Pizza all the time. And it's the best pizza because they use real cheese, real sauce, all homemade. Tommy and the group do a great job. It's a little tiny hole in the wall in the corner of a little strip mall, and it's been around for 40 years. And so I 100% support that. However, in a pinch, it's nice that they're trying something new. And if you're an idiot, if you don't like pizza, and you don't have to nail the pizza, you got to do an affable job of the pizza. And I'm really happy that Tim Hortons is doing this. And I'm not even juggling the ball.
You saying that. I can't believe you saying that. Like that. How do you just expect mediocrity? Like, is that what you want? Like, I'm like, I just wish they would
I know what I
do
get
like
when
a
I'm going
fucking
to a
okay
fucking
job,
drive-thru.
maybe.
No, when I go to a drive-thru, I know what I'm
something?
getting. Locke, you know that, right? Like when you go to a drive-thru, you're like, hey, listen, I know I'm not getting a steak Diane with lobster tails here.
Yes.
So I'm going to adjust my fucking expectations. Locke,
Yes.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're not interrupting. I wanted to add that line. You would, like, when I go to Tim Hortons and I get a bagel and a cup of coffee, I know what I'm going in for. If I'm gonna try the Tim Hortons pizza, I'm not expecting it to beat Tony's. I'm also gonna go get Tony's pizza on Friday night, right? And I'm gonna tip 20% because I want to make sure Tony. But hold on, here's the other thing I'll say. Listen, we had a conversation with a guy, Paul, who is one of the guys that runs Woodshed Burgers in town, and him and his group are involved in a couple of different franchises. And they, Ben Stetler, the little boy that we lost.
They do the Ben Burger over there.
They do the Ben Burger, and they're a proceed. They did it last year during the playoff run, or during the playoff run this year. Sorry. And they made a bunch of money for the Kids with Cancer Society.
Yep.
And when Ben passed away, they reached out to the family and said, if we put this on the menu full time, would you guys be okay with that? And we want to continue to donate to the Kids with Cancer Society. And the family got back to them and said yes. And when I wanted to get Paul on, and when I found out he was doing this, to give him a bit of a plug, and it was the day that Ben's memorial service in town, the public one, happened. We had him on that morning, and I was like, good job. dude, this guy's awesome. Yeah, great job. And let's give him a little bit of love. And I know a bunch of locker room listeners went and had the Ben burger that day and that weekend. That was, I think, last week. Anyway, the point I wanted to make was I knew about Woodshed Burgers because people talk about it all the time. Anytime we did a food topic, best burger in town, local, we do a lot of local food topic things. People would come up and they would bring up Woodshed Burgers, fairly new restaurant. Well, during COVID, when everyone has been complaining about how COVID killed them, pandemic knocked them down, they weren't able to keep their doors open. Here's a guy that's opening restaurant. They have 4 locations in town now.
It's because they're doing a good job.
Because they're doing a good job. Because people are talking about their damn burgers and they're going out and you know what? Listen, I'm all for helping the little guy, but you got to help yourself too. Make sure you put something out there. Tony, if you're going to make fucking pizza, make sure you make the best goddamn. There's always going to be a Timmy's. There's always going to be that element of food and food service, but I like to support those guys that managed to release open 4 restaurants in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that guy, I've got time for Paul and that gang from Woodshed.
Absolutely.
Burgers, right?
But
and
my
so
my problem is like you guys are stumping for like, are we just like going to applaud Tim Hortons for filling such a market void that is pizza in Toronto?
No.
Is that a big market void?
No, you're thinking way too hard. This is about me and my mouth. This is about me in a pinch going, pizza. Yeah, I'll give that a go. $8, no problem. Yep. Add a double on top of that dark roast. Actually, not a double. 1 cream, 1 sweetener, shot of vanilla, dark roast. I'm in.
I'm gonna try this.
I'm thinking selfishly.
But if it's
I'm not looking out for small pizza here. I'm not looking out for big pizza.
I know, but
I'm looking out for my
place that makes good pizza, why not just go get good pizza for
it's not next to a place that has good pizza. Like there's a Tim Hortons just down the street. They're serving the pizza.
I'm
going to go get one
every fucking corner.
Yeah, I know there are, but not everyone is serving the pizza. You don't have to shit all over it.
Yeah,
you can, and we can have a laugh about it. Either way, I'm gonna still eat the pizza.
Part of the reason why
I don't understand the defense and the love for a mediocre that you already know is a mediocre. We've seen it; it's already out there. Why are we defending it? It's a piece of shit.
You're thinking too hard. I just want to try it. That's it. I want it to stick around until I can try it. And I think Big Pizza would.
You want to talk about doing yourself something? Do yourself a favor and enjoy food. Don't just do it because it's there. I do enjoy
food. I want to try it. No, that's bullshit. Everybody else knows it's bullshit. No, it's not. Like the other day, I tried the Flaming Hot Cheetos mac and cheese. I didn't want to try it. It is bullshit, and it's all cancerous. But I fucking ate the crap out of it, and I loved it.
It's good.
And I did it from my mouth.
Okay,
me,
hold on.
Selfish mouth.
Linz,
fucking
hear me out.
Jesus Christ.
This is for you. This is for you.
This is for you. You listen hard, food.
Oh, I'm listening hard.
This is going to give you a really good sense of where Dean and I are coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. 95% of the reason why we keep bringing up this pizza
is to
fucking push you over the edge.
I know.
There's no other reason.
I fall for it. I fall for it every fucking time.
And
I know.
We literally have talked way too much about this because of our enjoyment of seeing how uncomfortable this makes you.
Get triggered about a fast food pizza.
Yeah, I know. And I fall for it like an idiot. I know I'm a fucking idiot. Okay? You don't have to remind me.
I'm gonna eat this.
But when it comes,
literally before we went on the air,
good.
Dean was like, "I don't think Linz is having a very good day. Let's bring up the fucking pizza again, see if we can push him over the edge." Honestly, I swear to God,
I did. I talked to him right before too.
He's like, "I'm like, how's it going?" He goes, "Not a great day." I'm like, "I can't wait to drop the Tim Hortons pizza love on you. Then that's gonna be."
And
awesome.
You know what? I'm glad you did.
We got to advocate for the pizza because he fucking hates it. He's in a terrible mood. Because now you're in a great mood, right? You're welcome.
I am in a great mood now. This kind of bullshit, I'm totally down for. The kind of bullshit I dealt with all day, I'm not. So yes, I thank you guys for
You're welcome, buddy.
You're welcome, food plebs.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see the article? Speaking of fast food, you remember when Tim Hortons Wendy's did they supported Lisa Laflamme yesterday. This happened where they put Wendy in gray hair.
I'm confused by this.
Well, Wendy's they changed your logo, just the hair. Wendy's hair was red. and in support of Lisa Laflamme, the individual who was fired from Bell Media last week or 2 weeks ago.
I don't hate this.
And then rumors of how the guy that fired her questioned who let her, quote, hair go gray. Who let her do that? She's like, fuck, I'm going to stop coloring my hair. Dove donated $100,000 to women's charities in support of Lisa last week, which was incredible. And then Wendy's decided they were going to take a strip off of Bell Media, and they did it. They put this logo up. There's Wendy with gray hair in support of Lisa Laflamme. They tagged her in it as well. Well, CTV fought back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Bell fought back. They put out it's greasy. It's very, very greasy.
Okay.
And what they did was
that might be a battle you don't want to get into. Bell has a lot of money.
Well, what they did was they put out like a legitimate tweet, and I thought it was fucking hilarious because they put it out as a news story, right?
Yeah.
Which is what these guys do. Like mainstream media, when they get caught with their pants down, what they do is they'll put up a news story that defends their honor that looks legitimately like a tweet or like a news story. And let me just kind of bring this up. Give me 1 second.
I've never seen that before.
It's and somebody else, some other right-wing rag today put out experts say that these outlashes from corporations in defense of social justice are not a great idea.
Yeah.
And like they're literally sharing that shit I can't wait to read Brian Lilly next week about how bad this is. It's going to be great.
Well, the
Lori
article
Goldstein.
Yeah. Oh, remember him?
Yeah.
A bunch of people who are. Let me get this up for you so you can have a look at it. So, Locke, this is fucking awesome.
I haven't seen the Bell response. I saw the Wendy's ad, which I thought was funny.
It was a great ad.
Yeah, it's nice.
Here's the story they put. This is the title. In wake of Laflamme's exit, brands should be wary when jumping on hot topics.
Experts. Yeah.
And they interviewed a guy named Brian Winder, who's an expert, or Dennis Winder. I can't remember. And literally his claim to fame is he talks about retail shopping a lot.
Yeah. Experts.
And the article, which was fascinating, it was very, very interesting. This is what they said.
So what are they saying? It's basically just it's just a hit piece.
Yeah, that's all it is on anybody who's going to. This is what the article is. The article is written. Anybody, any brands, retail brands, fast food brands, business brands. It's basically a warning from Bell, and it was shared by other outlets as well to not get involved. Don't get involved in this. It's bad for you. It's terrible for you. Marketing experts say that brands have advertised themselves with a nod to CTV national news host Lisa Laflamme's recent dismissal should, quote, be aware of blowback. Ooh. Companies that, like Wendy's is worried about blowback.
Yeah.
Companies that integrate news moments into their branding run the risk of being seen as opportunistic and should prepare for added scrutiny from customers and employees when they take the stand on hot-button issues, said retail analyst Bruce Winder. How does one become a retail analyst? I shop a lot, or I'm friends with the fucking people who asked to do this article. Quote, there could be some blowback if there's any hidden in the closets as it's related to both companies having done so. So it's a high-risk move. Winder's remarks come after the fast food chain Wendy's changed the profile photo on its Canadian Twitter account Thursday to its mascot bearing gray hair instead of her usual red locks. Her tweet read, quote, because a star is a star regardless of hair color, using 2 emojis and included Lisa Laflamme's name and a hashtag. It was awesome if you haven't seen it. Media reports have tied Laflamme's ouster from Bell to her decision to stop dyeing her hair during the pandemic. They go on to say at the end of the article, companies who take the risk of being quick and tying themselves into a moment before it's left the zeitgeist or other brands have beat them to it. There's only room for a few to really get the big reward for being associated. So that's why you have to be ready to jump on these situations. And then at the end of the article, it says CP24 is a division of Bell Media who fired Lisa Laflamme. Fucking unbelievable. I haven't seen that like to this extent where like a media company who's been dragged for doing something fucking clearly stupid has said, hey, we're warning you. Don't fuck with us. Don't fuck with our nut. Don't fuck with our money.
In 2020, Wendy's was worth $5 billion. So I don't think they're shaking in their boots. So And
Well,
Dove,
and they
Dove is
kinda-
owned by Procter and Gamble, if I'm not mistaken, and they are a worldwide fucking entity that would put Bell under the water immediately. So
Yeah.
please keep putting your pieces out, because this isn't
Yeah.
Tony's Pizza changing his logo. These are big players.
Well,
These are the ones that
and
buy your
National
advertising.
companies. Yeah.
the interesting thing about it for me is, aren't you making it worse? Like that, they keep making these, they keep fumbling the ball here, Bell. Like,
Are you surprised?
and again, I said the same thing. We were having a conversation the other day about Will Smith, and I'm like, listen, I don't know whether or not if it's even worth it for him to attempt to try to come back. But I was suggesting, listen, regardless of where you stand on the slap and what it meant and whatever, him trying to get back into the favor of the audience, his attempts is, in my opinion, the worst thing he could be doing. He should have just shut the door and walked away for 2 years. You can't tell me he couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
And then just sort of eked his way back in. Like, what's his name? The comic, the ginger comic that was whacking off in ficus plants.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.
Yeah.
He did it right. He just went, all right, listen,
Took a break.
this deserves a statement. I probably shouldn't be asking women if I can beat off in front of them.
Sort
It
of.
was a mistake. Then he disappeared.
Yeah.
He was gone off the face of the earth for more than 2 years. Like, and then he just sort of started showing up in like in clubs again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now everything he releases is on his own webpage. He's probably making more money now than he ever did.
He said
And
that
he's
2
got
days ago.
control
He's
of
like,
the
I've never
show.
made this much money in my fucking life. Yeah.
And
He's doing it himself.
that was the smartest thing he could. It's been less than 6 months, and fucking Will Smith is just he's trying to ease his way back in. I think Bell should just go, all right, we fucked up here. Now shut up. Like, I can't believe these are smart people that run these companies. I can't believe that a guy with a green fucking hat on a podcast is telling you something that should have been done. Like, you
Who's
need
half
to
in the
stay
bag,
away.
By the way. Yeah.
Listen, I've only had a couple of drinks.
Very
today.
sick. It's very sick.
I'm drinking through it.
Yeah. No,
Unilever
right.
owns Dove, by the way, and they were worth 52 billion euros in 2021. So please
That's a lot of dollars.
tell them how to operate. I would love to keep hearing how they're supposed to operate their
It's
It's
campaigns.
crazy. Like,
I've never
shut
seen
up.
a response like this. Like, I don't know if it had to take Lisa Laflamme getting pumped to have a look at the culture in, media in this country, which is largely owned by 2 to 3 players. But like, they've been allowed to do whatever they want for a long fucking period of time, and now they're getting dragged by their retail partners, like Dove, saying, "Hey, go fuck yourself. Here's $100,000 for charity because you guys are douchebags." And now, Wendy's, which, by the way, the pioneer of the spicy chicken sandwich. Everybody is a pretender here. Everybody in the spicy chicken
Not a
sandwich market
Nashville
is a
chicken.
pretender. Not Nashville chicken. Mary Brown's is good. Mary Brown's is up there
Yep.
too. I love it.
Just a
I
regular
love
chicken
the-
sandwich.
the
You're fucking
spicy-
right.
Asiago.
Yeah, dude.
The Asiago
Oh,
spicy chicken
it's
is my
out
favorite.
Of this world. Out of this world. And the
Fantastic.
frosty.
Although I'm not a
forget it,
huge
the
fan of the
baked
Wendy's
potatoes.
fries.
Forget it. Oh, really, dude? That's
Yeah, they
that's part of their
changed them.
business.
Yeah,
No,
They
I like
changed
Wendy's
them.
fries.
I
I'm a
didn't
big
like.
fan.
But I will say this: if you are going to Wendy's for breakfast, do not say no to the potato wedges.
Out of this
They're
world.
the
I still
highlight of
haven't
the
gotten there
breakfast.
Oh, dude,
haven't-
Wendy's breakfast
I
is
gotta go?
unbelievable.
Yeah,
I got
okay.
lots of love for Wendy's because they're socially aware and they actually give a shit and they don't care about what their media partners think, and I love that. So if you are in marketing with Wendy's or someone in marketing with Wendy's, we have a bit of an agency here. We're happy to take your business. If you choose not
We
to do
love
business
you.
with Bell or Rogers, we love your food.
Yeah, I'd love that.
All the
Maybe
time.
I'll start getting fucking paid.
Yeah, you should.
Wouldn't that be nice?
We're gonna pay you in those Wendy's breakfast wedges, which, by the way, are out of this fucking world. If you haven't had them,
Lachlan's
You're
gonna
"Oh my
look
God,
like that
Wendy's,
globe.
please.
the wedge game. Yeah, so good.
Give
Yeah,
me
I'll
some
try 'em.
money.
Give Dean some money so he can give Locke some money.
That should be my new shirt. Someone
Right.
give Dean some money.
Anyway, last but not least, did you see this? If you guys, how many Zoom meetings do you think you've had over the past 2 years?
Oh my god.
100.
Oh, fucking gross. I don't even want to think about it. It actually
We
gives
had
me
this-
douche chills thinking about it.
we had this conversation this morning because we used to do all this work to set up these videos, like these side by sides we had before the pandemic. We'd have all our phones on and we'd have video, and then Jimmy would spend like literally 4 hours trying to piece these stupid videos together, right? Because this was the trend in radio, is like you got to have all this social media stuff. And now we just like today we were on with Victor Quee from the president of the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah.
And boom, we have them on and we go live and we record it. And then Jimmy literally takes the audio and the video, meshes it together, puts it on YouTube, sends a link. Boom. You know, Bob's your uncle. We're done. Mm-hmm. And we were having that conversation. I'm like, I said to Jimmy, I said, how much have things changed for us with video in the last 2 years? It's insane. Zoom everything. This is essentially a form of Zoom, right? Like, and then there's Google at work or whatever. Like, a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah,
like
Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, my wife is on video conference calls all day.
Yeah,
all day from home. That's
well, you should get her to like make sure that she, closes her laptop and stuff, because sometimes, as we've seen, you remember Brian Tobin or
Zoom
what's
dick.
His name? The guy who's jerking off. A lot of people are getting in trouble in these Zoom meetings because two things. One is they think that they're not on camera, number one. But apparently, a new study said that the biggest problem with people getting caught doing terrible things on Zoom meetings, they just don't close their laptop and they can't see the window. Like, can't see the window open because they've got it minimized. I believe that's what happened with our next video.
Okay. What? I haven't seen this.
This is what appears to be a group meeting of a bunch of employees from Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Oh, I already love somebody fucked up at Whole Foods. That's amazing.
And the team meeting at Whole Foods was happening via Zoom. And one of the ladies thought that she had closed her laptop. Not so much.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have a look.
We could do that. 5 minutes. So you'll have 5 minutes. Again, there's no word on stage, but just be aware. You don't want to have so many words. It's more so how you describe the experience.
Wow.
Some sex.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. A little sex in that Zoom call. And thank God they blurred it out and muted it. She was having a great time, as you can see. There she is in the background there, and the lady underneath her is like, I can see what's happening. And the guy on top is fucking dying laughing. He can't stop watching. Everybody's laughing. Look at that. Everybody is dying laughing. And the young lady who is having the time of her life, having what appears to be some consensual pleasure with her man. And you can't see too much.
Do we know what her position was? I mean, not that,
Doggy
but I mean,
style.
in the company. Like, how high up was she?
I don't know any of those details. This is just a meeting, a Zoom meeting where everybody in it is watching one of their fellow employees have intercourse because she forgot to shut her. So my point is this: you have to close your computer all the time, especially if you have your computer in a bedroom. Just a quick boom, you got to close it. No one's going to see if it's a laptop, but that is the number one culprit of people being caught doing sexy things after a Zoom meeting and leaving the Zoom meeting thing on is like, hey, forgot to close the laptop. All my employees at Whole Foods saw me having intercourse with my boyfriend. Look at the guy up top with the beard. He thinks it's the fucking best thing.
Oh yeah. So if HR had any inkling of what to do now, is send them the employee survey today.
Yeah. So
they're in a good mood. They'll fill that out. I had a great day at work today. My day was fantastic.
Yeah. Saw Alice getting railed. Saw Mike have a couple of drinks.
Alice. Yeah.
How's the Zoom meeting? It was great. We got to the bottom of what we're going to do with the outstanding garbage behind the Whole Foods, and Alice really took it like a champ.
Yeah. And Alice's boyfriend got to the bottom of it too.
You know what? Honestly, I wish this is a social experiment, is what it is, because everyone's reaction to that says a lot about who they are as an individual, right?
Yeah.
And you probably learn more about your staff with Alice getting railed in the middle of a Zoom meeting than anything you could do. There's no surveys. There's no nothing that is going to tell you more about who you have working for you than a group meeting where Alice is
really hitting the KPIs.
Yeah.
She's getting it. Look at
She's
that.
got the
So you'll have 5 minutes.
What's up,
key
Alice?
performance indicator right there.
Meeting's over. Let's go.
I'm not even sure I'd be embarrassed by that.
It's more so how you describe the
Look at how awkward Pink Hoodie is.
Yeah,
She's so beat red.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, guys,
Oh, that's
it's just
good.
a nice way to end is close your laptop after your Zoom meetings at work if you're going to have intercourse with your significant other. Probably a good idea. Or masturbate. That's usually a good idea, too. Thanks, boys, for doing this. Really appreciate it. Locke, you got a big day of drinking, right? It's Friday. You got a big day of drinking ahead of you. You got a couple in you now. Wife's gone. What is the rest
That
of the
was
night
medicine. That wasn't drinking.
Right. What kind of medicine
medicinal.
you got going on tonight? Where are you going? Army Chris's for a barbecue? Everybody getting hammered tonight? What's
I
the
am
plan?
so on my own right now because Grant's got something going on.
Yeah.
Jimmy is DJing at the East Coast Direction. It's 80s night, and so I'm not going there. That's in the trailer park. And the wife's gone, and so it's just me and Kingston. So me and the dog are going to get drunk in the backyard. Yeah, he's on some event, New Brunswick or Nova Scotia or Newfoundland. I don't know. He's drinking in back east, and I don't know what the event is. So
You gonna be okay on your own tonight? Like, are you gonna get alcohol poisoning? It's
I
gonna
have
be one of those nights where you're drinking at home by
No,
yourself in the
no.
basement. You turn to liquor at the wrong time. You get all bombed. You puke on the dog. Your wife comes home and that's why it smells in the basement.
No,
all that
very
kind of stuff.
rarely. You know what it is? I'll tell you. When I get out of hand, it's generally like it's a shot thing, right? Or it's day drinking.
Yeah.
That's usually. I'm usually good at I keep a good pace. And then I'm such a lightweight. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock every night. So there's no chance of me giving myself alcohol poisoning. Plus, I legitimately am trying to pump the brakes a bit because I'm still trying to get over this fucking cold. Thanks for giving me the day off yesterday, Dean. I appreciate it.
Dude, my pleasure.
Oh, I literally called him. I said, I fucking can't do this. I gotta crash. Every day this week I've woken up and I'm just like, I hope people don't have this cold. It's like right here. And it's like, it feels like it's just above my throat and in my ears. And I've had it for 2 weeks and it's like very painful. And it's affecting my voice and I'm sleeping okay, but I get up in the morning and I just feel like a bag of smashed assholes. I've almost called in sick a couple of times. And then yesterday I said to Dean, I said, if you let me pull the pin on the pod, I'm going to fucking crash. And I slept for 4 hours in the middle of the afternoon. And then last night I went to bed at like 8:30, crashed, had no problems crashing again.
Did you dose yourself before you go to bed with some Advil and a couple of pints? No,
I did not. No, I've been doing that at night before the nap. I didn't.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Did you do that at night after your 4-hour nap? Because there's no way I would be able to sleep after a 4-hour nap. Anyway, dude, I'm just glad you're okay. Glad you're getting better. It's not that big of a deal.
You sound better.
I just wanted to know what your weekend sounded like and looked like because your wife was out of town and you celebrated yesterday by eating pepperoni and Oreo sandwiches.
Yeah,
which was not awful. I am a little worried about my food this weekend because the wife did not cook for me before, and I know that makes me sound fucking
like a
misogynist as hell. Yeah. But I do have this beautiful wife who is who does care about my lack of ability to feed myself. I can, but I mean, she does when I go away. She does take it upon herself to actually prepare meals for me. And this week we've been so busy. We were house shopping and doing all this crazy shit. And so she did not prepare meals for me. So it's going to be some grilled cheese tonight. I was thinking I'll probably eat eggs quite a bit.
Do me a favor. Do you have an onion in the house?
I have I can go look. I might have a
chop up a little bit of onion and like really fine and put it in that grilled cheese and tell me that's not way better than it would have been.
I'm going to try that.
Okay.
Or some pepperoni.
Little red onion.
Yeah.
You got
the pepperoni's gone.
Pepperoni left. Oh, is
the
it?
Pepperoni's
No.
gone. I ate that this morning at work. I was just hacking chunks of it off.
This story about his wife is
But
just
every time
leaning-
your wife leaves,
lending-
you eat like just shit. You
It's-
drink like shit. You
It's
party
just
too
lending.
much.
It's lending more and more credibility to my theory that Deb is not his wife; it's his court-appointed guardian.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. That Deb runs an assisted
I'm very
living
lucky.
facility.
That's why
I'm
he's
very
got that hat on. She doesn't
Deb
let him wear
runs an
that when she's
assisted
around.
living facility, and Lachlan isn't his husband. It's
Not a
it's
bracelet.
her client.
Yeah.
You're just a client.
She just lets him say husband.
Yeah,
That's right, dear.
That's right. As long as the government checks clear, Lachlan's got a place to
Guys,
sleep. Doesn't matter.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah,
very,
you
very
are.
lucky. I met a phenomenal lady, and she has. I would have been a fucking mess if I would not have gotten. Somebody hadn't locked. If I hadn't locked that down, I can't even imagine where I'd be right
You're a
now.
lucky man.
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
say that all the
Beautiful,
time too.
beautiful, very nice lady.
I say that all the time too. Where would I be on my own? Oh wait, I am, and everything's awesome. Your Friday is my every day. Just so you know. Your Friday.
there's
your,
just-
your
there's-
bucket hat Friday, drinking Friday, do what you want Friday is my Monday, my Tuesday, my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
I needed some
Sunday,
stability.
every day.
Some guys can
It's
get
my
away with
everyday.
it. Like
Yeah,
Jimmy gets away with this lack of stability. Like he's completely untethered. Like he just lives life 1 second at a
Like
time.
a honey
Like,
badger.
we were literally joking about him again today. Like when he shows up at where it doesn't matter where we go. Like he's got a pillow
Mhm.
and a change of underwear and maybe a toothbrush, and he's good to go. Like
Does he need a shirt?
we call him the survivalist. I mean, he can go anywhere
He's a
with
cockroach.
nothing.
Yeah, it's like he's a cockroach. He fucking survives everywhere he goes. If he needs a shirt, I got one for him. We're selling them at the shop. Big news. We have sold hundreds of these Mayor Dianitarian fuck off you fuckwads
It's crazy.
t-shirts. And if you go to deanblundell.com, go to the shop, not only can you order one of these fuck off you fuckwad t-shirts, safe for work and not safe for work, all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds are going to Parn 4 Counties. If you go to Parn, at Parn 4 Counties, it is an AIDS awareness. They also do overdose awareness. They do a ton of great work in communities where it's really tough to get marginalized people. Diana picked that because, of course, we let her do whatever she wants. She's the mayor of fucking Peterborough and a total boss. So if you go to the shop, you can order one of these today. And there's a full complement of shirts, including a shirt that we sold yesterday that has Lachlan's face in the middle of a fucking pentagram that says Hail Satan on the front. And we sold one yesterday. We
Nice.
sold one.
Made my
And I
day.
couldn't
Hey,
believe it.
And it was shipped
Can
to
I-
Lachlan Cross.
Yeah, probably.
Can I talk about the fun police over here?
Yeah.
Dean?
Yeah.
So Diane, the mayor of Peterborough, was involved in a email thread.
Yeah. Our
and
group,
so
group thread.
she was asking questions about the charity and how we're going to get the money and how much and how many t-shirts and that kind of thing, which so my guy, I'm the director of merch here on the Dean Blundell Podcast Network. My guy
you are.
Scotty, he does all the sort of the technical stuff. I'm like, hey Scotty, can you get Diane this information? Da, 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 da. So he responds, and then another question, then another question, and I'm realizing that one of the bigger cities in Canada has a mayor on this thread, and we're all replying all, and I'm like, I am just having the
Same.
I'm like having a reply all fast.
So was I.
hated it so much.
And
I
we're
know.
going back, and Lynn's is asking an asshole question, and then I like just pointless. And then Dean sends a note, just sucks the life out of the room,
Yep.
just kills all our fun, and goes,
Pulls the-
"Hey fuckers, she's the mayor of Peterborough. Can you just quit with the reply alls?" And then says, "You dicks were doing this on purpose, weren't you?" And I was like, "Yes, I was."
Yes, we were.
But it wasn't like I sent a tweet to Scotty and I'm like, hey, Scotty, make sure you include Diane in any sales updates so we can give her transparency through the process. He's like, no problem. For the next 7 solid days, Lachlan kept hitting reply all. every time. And I'm like, he's doing this on purpose. And then all of a sudden I saw you, and it was like, hey, Locke, how's, like, literally, this is the shirt that we bought, including the proof. Someone purchased this shirt yesterday. And they're like, at the shop.
I look constipated.
And
That's
so
a
we're
good thing.
sending, yeah, you do. And so we're sending like emails back and forth for a week. And I noticed that every time we did it, Locke is like literally replying all to Mayor Diana Tarian of fucking Peterborough. So it's like, I love this one of me. I look like I'm taking a shit. And Diane's in the email and not a word from her. And I don't, because she's like probably looking at these emails and these replies all back and forth where Locke's like, that one makes me look like I'm constipated. Ha ha ha. And he's doing it on purpose. And I don't notice it because in your email, it's like, this person is replied to and 3 others, right? It says and 3 others.
She's in
and
the
so
and
it
3
dawned
others.
on me yesterday because Diane replied. She's like, hey, those are great numbers. Thanks. Keep me updated. And I'm like, oh my God, she's been on all these. The mayor of the fucking city of Peterborough is like, has seen all of this. And I'm like, you fucking idiots. What are you doing? She can't just like,
my God.
and I said, I almost think you're doing this on purpose. And Lachlan replies he goes, I have been.
Dude, we're raising thousands of dollars for her charity of choice, and she's a very fun adult. She's having a good time with us. It's like the Prime Minister of Finland. She deserves to have a laugh too.
Oh my God! She, by the way, the super smoking hot Prime Minister of Finland passed her drug test. Good news. Bad news is since then, about 10 other topless pictures of her partying have come out.
I'm down.
Which you can see at deanblundell.com. Well, the supermodel that she was partying with, Saba.
Well, it's been good seeing you guys.
Saba Sarka. That's Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Have a great weekend, Locke. That is Ryan Lindley from the Lynn's Report.
New one this weekend.
You've got a new one this weekend? All right, sir. We're looking forward to it. Go and download, subscribe his podcast. A quick look at great news from around the world with a real fun twist. And I'd love for you to download that. Follow him as well at Ryan Lindley, the Lynn's Report. Talk to you soon, brother. We'll talk to you a bit. That is Ryan Lindley. And that's it for us for the week. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, everyone. Don't forget to go and buy these shirts this weekend. All the money goes to AIDS and overdose awareness for parn.ca. Follow them at Parn4 Counties and have a look. And, of course, you can follow Mayor Diane Tarian. These are her shirts at Diane and Tarian as well. Go to the shop at deanblundell.com. It's in the front page. Top of the thing, little banner, header, just says shop. Make sure you check it out. Thanks to our friends at Easy Auto Financial for making this possible. If you're looking for financing for a vehicle, Easy Auto Financial are your people. Your credit rating does not matter to them whatsoever. The only thing they care about is making sure that you get free financing. That's right. I said free. Everybody wants you to pay for financing. These guys don't. They make sure that they bury it and you don't ever see it, and other people pay for it, and then they take care of all the details when you're buying a vehicle, and it's all turnkey. That's the brilliance of easyautofinancial.ca. Check them out today. No obligation. Thanks to our friends at Kivlaw as well. Kivlaw.ca. Go to Kivlaw today if you're looking for legal help, any legal advice. You're caught in a sticky wicket. You did something, maybe you didn't. Someone accused you of doing something you didn't. You just need straight up legal help. Listen, the only people we trust are the good people at Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. Email Robert at kivlaw.ca today if you've got an outstanding issue or something that you need immediate help with. Kivlaw.ca defense attorneys, any violation, any issue, they will take care of it. That is what their team does. And they don't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what's going to give you every opportunity to be able to get out of your legal jam. That's what they do. Kivlaw.ca today. And of course, as if that weren't enough, go buy Ed's underwear this weekend. Gitch, branded underwear, boxer briefs. Gitch3 is your promo code. edsfineimports.com. Order online. If you order 3 or more pairs, send you the 4th for free when you use that promo code GITCH and then the number 3. Massive online store too. Clothing for men and boys. He's got a little bit of something for everybody. The store is incredible. Shoes, socks, accoutrement. Sells those secret wallets. You know, those metal ones that you can't scan. If you're a little paranoid, they're really cool. Actually, I got one the other day. But he's got a massive online store. Johnny Varvatos, 34 Heritage Jeans. I wear them all the time. Do yourself a favor. Go to edsfineimports.com and have a great weekend, everybody. Really appreciate you being here today. I mean that. It goes without saying, I think sometimes you get caught in content and you start going, I'm pretty good at it. No, I'm nothing. None of this stuff happens without any of you people, all of you in the comment section. Thousands of comments, thousands of downloads, thousands of views, and I couldn't be more humbled on a daily basis that you guys choose to spend a little bit of time with us. We all feel that way. And the only thing that really matters to us here is being of good character and acts for the common good. Do we get caught up in slinging a little shit sometimes? Sure, but that's fun too, right? It's a lot of fun. But stand up for people. Give away your privilege this weekend in your personal life. Seriously, just a little bit. Give away that privilege to people who need it. That's an alpha male and alpha female. And call out the bullshit when you see it. Just be good to everybody around you. Kindness begets kindness for the most part. And if you can't be kind, at least finish that person quickly before they get to you. I do believe that to be true, by the way. I live my life like that. Anyway, have a great weekend. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Always humbled that you spent some time with us. We'll talk to you on Monday, where we have J.C. Boucher. J.C. Boucher is a professor. He also did a study on misinformation and who slings the most. The results are fucking mind-blowing. So J.C. Boucher on Monday. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you Monday. Bye.